I'm working now on attaching the permanent attachment of the neck to the body. And for that, I'm going to be using a long screw that will go through the bottom of the neck here, right through into the neck block. So I'm going to now drill a hole through here, a pilot hole that'll go through the neck, and I just want to touch the neck block, and then I'll take the neck out and drill the hole the rest of the way with the neck out. That is good through there. I'm just going to go a slightly bigger on the neck, just to avoid, I don't want to have any splitting going on with this screw through here. And I'm going to put a little countersink there. Notice a slight color variation between here and here. I just tried putting on some a coat of varathane on the cedar, and just to give you a little bit better illustration of what that's going to look like. You can see the difference between here and here. So with a coat of varathane, we just kind of bring out the grain of the cedar. I quite like the look of that. That's what I'm going for. So that's how the guitar is going to be finished. It's just going to be straight varathane, nothing, no stain of any sort. I think this wood is, I really like this wood, the cedar and the maple too. So it's just gonna have it looking good. All right, so with now the neck machined the way that I want it for the most part, I'm going to take the neck off and apply the fretboard, and we'll get final sanding on the fretboard and put the purfling on the fretboard, or sorry, the purfling's on the fretboard. We'll just attach that and then sand the neck flush on either side of the fretboard. And then I can get the electronics installed in here and then put the back on. That's kind of the order of operations. But for now, let's get this fretboard mounted. All right. First step in this operation is put a little silicone in here on the truss rod. I'm going to put 2 dabs on it. Stop. It slips into that slot there. And I've decided that I am not going to glue that in. This will sit underneath the nut here on the neck, so that if we need to get the truss rod out, we can remove the nut that will just lift up and then the truss rod can slide right out. So a little bit of future maintenance in mind on that aspect. Okay, let me bring over the fretboard, set it down, get the clamps ready, come back when I'm ready to glue that in place. Just doing a little bit of fine adjusting here by feel. The purfling extends over the side of the guitar, side of the neck, just a tiniest of bits. So by feeling, I can make the appropriate adjustment. Okay, I'm just going to clean that up a little better. Made a slight adjustment to the head of the neck as well. I thinned this down just a little bit. It was 5/8 of an inch. I've now made it, cut it down to almost a 1/2 inch. I may do a little bit more yet, but that can be done later. Okay. Leave that to dry. The fretboard now sits on the neck. It's just nice and flush all along the whole side here. I like the feel of it, so I put my hand around it. I think this neck may be a little bit thicker than some necks on some guitars, but my hands are a little big. So I prefer to have a neck that's just a little bit thicker. Yeah, I'm very happy with that. So next up, I'm starting to think about the electronics. Now I have a couple piezo pickups here. So I'm going to put, one is going to be up in this area here, and one will be right up by the saddle. And I have my jack. I'll drill a hole in the back here that this will slip in. I'm going to put this in a different spot than the strap pin. I have this thing about, in my own mind, about combining all kinds of contraptions into one. So I'm going to keep the strap pin, just a strap pin, and the pickup, just the pickup. I am waiting for the potentiometers to come in. They should arrive tomorrow. And I have the capacitors that will go on the tone control already. So as soon as those potentiometers arrive, I can wire up the electronics. Now, the thought occurred to me, okay, I can assemble all this stuff while the guitar is apart, but if I ever needed to service these electronic components, there's no way to access it. So, to that end, what I'm planning to do is on the back of the guitar that I've got laid out here, I'm going to cut a little square hole, and this will become a little access hole that I can get to the electronics. Right, I have my weapon of choice. It's a very thin little saw blade attached to the end of a Dremel. I haven't used this on any project before, so this is first time use. I did a test cut, and it cuts very well. But I'm just a little worried of it getting away from me. So what I've done is I've set up a little guide here, and I'm going to be putting this blade through at a bit of an angle, like that. That would just kind of help keep this piece from falling in, is my theory. So I'm going to make the first cut across here, and then I'll reposition this little guide to make my other 3 cuts. And I won't be going right up to the corner. I'm going to have to finish that off with a little coping saw to get that right. But let's start with this, see what happens. What could possibly go wrong? So this guide was keeping the blade from going too deep. I may just take the guide off and see now if I can follow that line the rest of the way. Well, we've come right through, so saw's doing the job. I'll make a couple more cuts and we'll see what we get out of this. It turns out my coping saw wouldn't work because I can't get the nib of the blade through this cut. So what I did is just flipped it over and used the Dremel with the saw blade and finished it on the inside. So this is what's come out. It's a little wedge that will just sit in there and won't fall through, which is kind of the cut I was going for. Let me peel all this stuff, all the tape off, and we can see what we're really dealing with here. So I certainly had some burning on the edge there. But that's how that piece would sit in. So I'll do a little bit of cleanup on that, and then put something on the underside, and we'll have our little hatch. So I've cleaned up that hole a little bit. There's still a little more work to do on it. And I've cut a couple strips that will be just attached to the bottom here. I'm just going to glue them in with some super glue. And that will give me a place when this is put on from the top to screw into to hold the little plug in place. So I'll just glue those on and come back when that's in. Well, that's the cover in place, but frankly, I'm not really happy with how that turned out. Overall, you know, from a distance, it's okay, but I really don't like how. No, I don't like it. It's the inside edges that are holding the piece in. They're functioning. They're doing the job. But yeah, I just don't like the way that's sitting. What I might wind up doing is putting some purfling in along the edge, or perhaps even making another wenge inlay that would sit in that opening. But yeah, I'm not happy with how that turned out. So little fiddling on that yet. All right, redid this little access hatch. So I made the hole a rounded square, so it's a little bit bigger. I put some purfling in around the perimeter of the hole, and then put in, you can see, a wenge plug held in with 2 screws. So I like that approach a lot better. Maple might have been a nice choice, but that could be replaced at any time. Anyway, I'm happy with putting in a little piece of wenge. We'll see how that works out. And although that worked, I just thought it was a little too dark, a little too much in your face kind of thing. So I think the maple looks a little bit better. So we'll go with that. And next up will be the electronics. I have now received the volume and tone controls for the guitar, so we're about to do the wiring. I've got my pieces assembled. So I have laid out roughly where I want the volume, well, not roughly, where I want the volume and tone controls positioned on the guitar. Our output jack will be in this area. The piezos will be here, and I'm going to mount this one down about here. So I'll have two of them. This part, you recall, picked up a lot of the treble, and this part down here picks up more of the bass. You can even hear that, the difference in tone. So a little more bass, a little more treble, and where all the diagrams that I've seen, the tone control should be a 0.22 microfarad capacitor. I have a 0.1 microfarad capacitor, so I'm just going to double them up. I'll get 0.2 out of that and 0.2 out of that. And yeah, I'm just ready to start wiring things up. So I'm going to start by getting these tone controls, the tone and volume, wired to each other. You can see on the wiring diagram there's a few wires that go between them. So I'll get that set up. I'll extend the leads here on the piezo. Yeah, so I'll just set up the camera on a fast forward and go through this wiring. So with the electronics wired, I'm now going to drill the 4 holes here for the volume and tone controls, and then we'll drill a hole in the end here for our jack. I have marked these holes, masking tape. I'm just going to start with a very small hole and work my way up. Okay, just need to get the other nuts on here, but we've got the idea. All 4 controls in. happy to have them. And we'll get the piezos screwed in and then, or glued on rather, and then get the wiring kind of tucked up out of the way. The electronics are all in, and I've held the wires in place with this product called alien tape. So I can just stick it onto the side here, and then the wires will stick right to that alien tape. It's double-sided stuff. And my experience using it is this stuff is incredibly sticky and stays stuck for a long time. So I'm comfortable that that's going to hold the wires in place. I may just tack a little bit here just to hold these wires, prevent any thumping against the top. I don't think that's going to be an issue, but I might just do something about it. I have to think about that. All our wiring is in place. The piezo pickups are glued in place with some super glue. And I'm now ready, at last, to attach the back. So just before buttoning this top onto the, or gluing the top or the back onto the guitar, just thought I'd take a quick second just to take some measurements here. We're 3.5 inches from the center of this brace to the center of this brace at the middle of the F-hole. So that will be useful information to have when we're creating the saddle on the front of the guitar. But yeah, a little bit of work now to get this on. I'm going to have some clamps that are going to be applied from here to here and another clamp from here to here, just to kind of twist the body a little wee bit to match the top. If I was to do this again, I would certainly make sure that the top is bigger. Like, I wouldn't cut it out to its size. At this point, I would have waited until it's placed on the guitar body itself. So, lesson learned there. Anyhow, let's get on with it. And I forgot to turn the camera on while I was gluing this in place. But we are all glued and clamped. Just going to have to let this set for a little while and come back when our body is complete. Well, the body is assembled. Still have to put the purfling around the outside, but there we are. And there is the guitar body assembled. And just for fun, see what it sounds like. There's some reasonable resonance out of it, so I think that'll come out. So I'm ready now to sand this little edge here to get it ready for the purfling. And to do that, of course I need to keep the guitar stable, and I want to keep it level so that as I go around on the drill press with the drum sander there, I'm getting it at the right height. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of plywood. It's kind of rough edge here, but plywood, and I've glued some blocks to the plywood. Actually, I have some masking tape between this block and the plywood so I can peel it off easy. And then just kind of taped the glue on top of these blocks. So the guitar is held level by the blocks and in position by the tape. I just need to keep that, I don't need it kind of glued down permanently and attached permanently. So the tape is sufficient to hold it in position. As I kind of move the guitar, and the plywood will slip around on the table. So I'm going to go over to the drill press now and begin the process of getting that edge done. Same as we did for the top side. So I just finished going around the edge of the guitar with the drill press and the drum sander on the drill press. It was a lot harder to do the maple than it was the cedar. Should have seen that one coming. In any event, what I'm now doing now is just going around the edge here with my chisel, just to sharpen up this bottom edge here. The drum sander tends to give a slight radius here on this edge, so using the chisel sharpens it right up again. So I'm just going to go all the way around with that, and then we're ready to attach some purfling. Well, I am slowly working my way around. The maple is considerably more of a challenge than the cedar was. Such a hard wood that getting through even just this little wee bit that's left over in this groove is proving to be quite a challenge. So I have made it all the way around the perimeter on that side, and I'm just coming along. Just going to finish up this little bit from, have to go from here to here. And you can see all this, this is just burn marks from the sanding that was done. Just found it quite amazing how much more difficult it was to do the maple than the cedar. But I suppose that's to be expected. Anyway, what I'm going to do is, I didn't get quite as far this week as I'd hoped I would make it, but we did see the electronics go in. And now just finish up this purfling. I'll call that a video for today. Thank you very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next video.